Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I have another video for you guys. We're going to be talking about how to moisturize and take care of high porosity hair. So I did one for low porosity a few weeks ago and people asked me to do one for high porosity hair, and here it is. I have low porosity hair, so that's why I did low porosity first because that's what I'm more used to, but I've done my research on high porosity hair enough to be able to make this video, so I'm going to give you guys all the information about everything that I've learned so far. So we're basically going to be talking about things to do to keep high porosity hair moisturized and basically manage the health of high porosity hair. If you haven't seen my low porosity hair video, I suggest you watch that before you watch this one. My hair is currently in micro mini twists. I did them by myself. I posted like a lot of the process on my story on Instagram, so if you don't follow me on Instagram, follow me there so that you guys will be able to see all this stuff that I do with my hair on there. And yeah, I actually made a full tutorial on these twists, so I'm going to be posting that on my YouTube channel as well, so stay tuned for that. Probably sometime next week, like a whole detailed tutorial how to do the twist, how to take care of the twist and everything, how to style the twist. So yeah, I'm very excited for that video. If you're not already subscribed, please go ahead and click that subscribe button down below. Turn your notification bell to be notified for when I upload my videos. And without further ado, sit tight and let's jump straight into the video. What is high porosity hair? For those of you that may not know, high porosity hair is hair that has the cuticles more open. The cuticles are raised. The cuticle is the outer layer of the hair strand. So in high porosity hair, the cuticles are more raised, they're more open, as opposed to lying flat and closed in the case of low porosity hair. Now, because the cuticles are open, high porosity hair tends to soak in a lot of water very easily, and it also loses that water very quickly as well. Now, you can have high porosity hair from genetics, but for the most part we usually start off with low porosity hair, and hair becomes high porosity over time from mechanical, chemical or environmental damages like constantly dyeing your hair, constantly using heat, over styling, the kinds of substances you put in your hair. So different things can affect the way our hair responds and can change our hair porosity over time. So before we get into the specifics and the details on how to moisturize high porosity hair, it's good to understand how high porosity hair acts in the presence of moisture, in the presence of water, so you can understand why these tips make sense. So when high porosity is in the presence of excess water, because it's very porous, it soaks up a lot of this water. It soaks up more water than it actually needs. So when this excess water gets into the strand, it causes the hair strand to swell, and when the hair strand starts to swell, it's more susceptible to damage, it's more susceptible to breakage. The hair strand becomes very limp and lifeless. On the flip side, because the hair strand is very porous, it makes it easy for all the water to dry up, and when all the water dries up, like everything is drying out, so the hair is going to be extra dry, extra brittle, extra fragile, and in that state it's also very prone to damage and breakage. So basically, when you're moisturizing high porosity hair, you have to do things that are going to prevent excess water from soaking into your strand, to prevent swelling, and at the same time contain the water that is in your strand, so that your strand doesn't easily lose a lot of that moisture to the air and become very dry and brittle. Okay, now to the important part, things to do to moisturize high porosity hair. 1, you need thick moisturizing creams and butters. This should be a no-brainer. You basically want thick butters and creams that are going to keep the moisture in your hair so that it doesn't lose moisture to the air rapidly. Some good butters to look for are shea butter, mango butter, cocoa butter, ukuba butter. You can use the raw butters, or you can also look for these butters in your products that you're using as well. So my personal favorite thick butters and creams are extra butter from Uncle Funky's daughter, the 4-in-1 hydrating cream from Traylux. Why is this thing reflecting? Okay, this one from Traylux, the heavy cream from Chemi Biologics, and this TGIN curl food. As a matter of fact, this Repair X line, I talk about this line a lot. This line is actually catered more towards high porosity hair or damaged hair or colored hair. It's basically a repairing and reconstructing line. So if you have high porosity hair, this line will be very good for you. Yes, my hair is low porosity, but I still use these products in my hair because my strands are very coarse. So coarse, thick strands can also do well with thick butters and creams. So that is another thing to note. The size of your strand also affects the way your hair responds to products, not just your porosity. Now, if your hair is on the finer side but high porosity, you don't want to go too overboard with these very thick products because they can overwhelm overwhelm and weigh down your hair since your strands are very fine. So definitely play around with consistencies of products. You still need stuff that is thick, but don't use too much. Don't go overboard with it so that it doesn't overwhelm your hair. And you should also look out for thick oils in your products as well. Avocado oil is a really good one. Castor oil, olive oil, jojoba oils. These are thick oils that also really coat the strand and helps to keep moisture in your hair. Number 2, we have penetrating raw oils. These are oils that basically penetrate deep into the hair shaft and help to prevent your hair from swelling up with excess water. Obviously, oil and water don't mix. So if these oils are sitting in your strand, there's not going to be space for excess water to fill up your strand. The hands down best one is raw coconut oil, especially if your hair is damaged from coloring, bleaching, or heat. Again, if your hair is on the finer side, you want to use these penetrating oils moderately. Start small and see how your hair can tolerate it. Don't go too overboard with it so that it doesn't overwhelm your hair and make your hair start feeling greasy. Examples of other really nice penetrating oils are palm kernel oil, sunflower oil, babasu oil. These are really nice penetrating oils as well, if coconut oil might be too much for you. So yeah, there are so many different penetrating oils you can try and play around with to see the one that your hair likes better. The other oils I mentioned previously, olive, castor, jojoba, avocado, those thicker oils, those have some penetration but not as much as these penetrating oils. But those other oils are just better at sealing in moisture. Number 3, we have protein. If your hair is porous, protein is your friend. Hydrolyzed protein basically helps to fill up those excess spaces in your hair cuticle to reinforce your hair strand and make it stronger. It also helps to slow down dehydration of your hair strand, similar to the way film forming humectants work in lower porosity hair. So it basically helps to keep some water in the hair strand so that it doesn't get dry too easily. If your hair is very porous from like bleaching, heat, damage, stuff like that I mentioned before, you want to be using a real protein treatment at least once a month. Start from there and see how your hair likes it. If it's not enough, you can increase it to twice a month. If your hair is really damaged, once a month is too strong for you, you can change it to every 5 weeks. Whenever you're using protein in your hair, you really want to pay attention to your hair to see how it's responding to the protein treatments. You can also get regular creams, moisturizers, leave-in conditioners that contain protein in it. They could contain keratin, silk protein. I have a video on proteins. I'm going to link it down so that you guys will see more details on that. I don't want to go too deep into this video, so the video is not too long. But yeah, you can use all these other regular products that have protein in them. Normally, the protein content in these products isn't as strong as that of a real serious protein treatment. So these are stuff that you can use in between protein treatments to keep up the health of your hair. So yeah, the protein in these products can be tolerated more since it's not that strong, and yeah, it can be used on a more frequent basis. The next thing is deep conditioners, regular moisturizing deep conditioners. You still need these in addition to the protein deep conditioners or protein treatments that you're using. So these will help in times where your strand loses a lot of water to the air and is very dehydrated. You need thick and rich deep conditioners that are really going to help put back that moisture in your hair when it's dehydrated, and help to really condition your hair. And since in high porosity hair the cuticles are raised, there are more sites on the hair strand for the conditioner molecules to actually stick to your hair and do some serious work. So deep conditioners, moisturizing deep conditioners, are something that you do not want to skip on at all. This is the protein treatment from the TGIN Repair X line. They also have a moisturizing deep conditioner as well, so they give you the two in the line. So like I said, this line is geared towards high porosity hair or damaged hair, so I like how they give you both options in the line. I can't find the deep conditioner container right now. I probably left it somewhere, or it's in my bathroom and I'm too lazy to stand up and go get it, but I've showed you guys what it looks like before. So another really thick one, this is actually one of the thickest deep conditioners that I own. This one is from Verve. I did a review on it in my last, if you watch my last wash day video, I reviewed this thing. It is so thick, and I like the fact that it comes in this big 16-ounce bottle. It is really thick. So if your hair is on the finer side, you will definitely have to dilute this one, or make sure that there's enough water in your hair before you apply this, because of how thick it is, so that it doesn't overwhelm your fine hair. But yeah, if you have coarser strands, you'll be able to tolerate this. This one is so thick, so it's good for high porosity hair, and it really does hydrate the hair. It's actually from the hydrating line. Everything I show in this video, I'm going to also leave it down below for you guys. I forgot to do that in my low porosity hair video, so I'm going to go back in and write down all the products that I used in the description box for people that want to get their hands on them. And if I also have discount codes for any of these products, I'll leave it down below as well. And also check that your deep conditioners have very nice butters and oils. A lot of the butters and oils that I mentioned before, check that they're present in your deep conditioners. You want those emollients to keep your hair very healthy. You want them to keep your hair flexible and elastic to reduce breakage. Now, other things you can do if you have high porosity hair to maintain the health of your hair. Number one, oil pre-shampoos. This is basically soaking your hair in oil before you wash it so that your hair absorbs a lot of that oil, so that it helps to prevent your hair from swelling up with water while you're in the shower washing your hair. Now, washing hair can be a very stressful task on the hair because obviously if you have high porosity hair, when you're washing the hair, there's a lot of water, so your hair is soaking up that water, one. Number two, depending on the type of shampoo or soap you're using, it's usually very alkaline, and alkaline substances raise the cuticles some more. So if your hair cuticles are already raised and you have stuff that's raising it some more water is going to get into your hair. A lot of times people wash their hair with very warm or slightly hot water, so there's a lot of steam that is also raising the cuticles some more, so a lot of water could possibly get into your strand and cause it to swell from inside, and that could be damaging. So doing an oil pre-shampoo is very important for people that have high porosity hair. So you basically want to protect and reinforce your strands with oil to counter the effects of excess water getting into your strand. Now, first of all, you're going to use penetrating oils for this, obviously. The oil you use for this and the duration of time you leave the oil soaking in your hair will be determined by how porous your hair is. Like I said before, if your hair is very porous, please start with coconut oil. If it's not that porous, experiment with the other penetrating oils. And yeah, sometimes you might have to leave the oil on for up to 2 hours, sometimes 3, sometimes an hour. It just depends on how porous your hair is. So this is again something that you have to play around with and see what works best for your hair. Number two, lukewarm water. You want to wash your hair with lukewarm water. You do not want the water to become too warm or too hot to the point where there's a lot of steam, because that will make your cuticles open up some more. Number three, avoid heat. Please try your best to avoid heat. Stay away from the flat irons, the curling ones, excessive heat, blow drying, anything that's going to cause excess heat to your hair. Stay away from it for some time. If you're one of those people that you just can't stay away from heat, at least use a heat protectant anytime you put heat in your hair. Number four, wear hats and scarves when necessary. This is especially for people that live in very cold climates, especially now that we're in fall and winter is coming very soon. If you live in an area that's very cold and very dry, please wear hats and scarves to protect your hair whenever you're going out, because the weather will really dry out your hair, and if you have high porosity hair, that is not something that you want at all, because it will leave your hair very brittle. Number five, satin pillowcases and scarves or bonnets are a must. These are recommended for all types of hair, but especially if you have high porosity hair, because for a lot of people their high porosity hair is due to damage. So if your hair is already in that vulnerable state, you really want to baby your hair. You want to be sleeping with satin scarves, satin pillows, bonnets, because these things don't cause excess friction on your hair and they don't dry out your hair as fast as cotton or other stuff. You want to minimize as much as possible the amount of friction that your strands are experiencing, because again, your cuticles are already open. When your strands have a lot of friction on them, the friction is chipping away the cuticles some more, and it's just going to make your strand more compromised. Number six, cut down on aggressive styling. I mean, that should go without saying. Aggressive styling is going to lead to more friction, more breakage, so please cut down on that. Number seven, avoid harsh shampoos or shampoos that contain harsh detergents in them, because those again will dry out your hair, and you're not trying to dehydrate your hair some more. Since your hair already gets dehydrated easily, you're not trying to worsen it. Look for gentle cleansers, stuff that will clean your hair, because you still need to clean your hair, but it doesn't really strip all your natural oils. Look for moisturizing shampoos. Some shampoos even contain protein that can help to protect your hair while it's cleansing. Or look for shampoos that are specifically formulated for damaged hair. You can try sulfate free shampoos as well. So yeah, just look for very gentle cleansers So yeah, I think that is all for this video. I think I've covered everything. If I forgot anything, I'm going to leave it down below in the comments. If you have any questions, please let me know. If you haven't watched my low porosity hair video, please watch that as well. Porosity can be a very tricky topic because a lot of people don't really know what their hair porosity is. It's something that you figure out by yourself when you pay attention to your hair and how it responds to certain stuff. It took me a few years to figure out that I was low porosity. If you don't know your porosity, don't get too worked up about it. Don't stress out too much. You will eventually figure it out if you pay attention to your hair. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe and share. You can subscribe to my channel by clicking the subscribe button down below on my face on this side. Also, do not forget to watch my other natural hair videos on this side. I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.